Brought to you direct from Studio 3B at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, the American Hardwood Advisor is your source for trends, tips, and insights into how the building industry has evolved. Join me, Steve Stack, along with guest builders and industry leaders as we talk shop and go in depth on what it takes to be the best of the best. Dive into topics like architecture, industry trends, project plans, historical tools, tricks of the trade, and life's lessons from more than 6 decades of experience in the hardwood lumber business. Hey folks, Steve Stack back again from Studio 3B with Chris Filardi of Come On Media, Renovation Hunters, and we finally make it to Project 3 of Season 2.
Linesville, PA.
There you go.
My home turf.
All of these projects, this Linesville being the 6th project for Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods and Renovation Hunters and the cast and crew, and each one of them has been unique. This one was unique in a couple different ways, and I know for all of us, it was an emotional one, right?
Very emotional.
This family had a heck of a backstory. They had a father that was bigger than life, and out of tragedies sometimes becomes victory, and they're a prime example of that. Take us down that road a little bit.
How do you put it so well? Imagine this. We all know this in our lives. So you have people that have worked their whole lives, grandfathers, uncles, cousins, whatever. They worked their whole lives to create a vision for the family. He had a vision to have a cabin on the lake in Linesville where they wanted to be. And he worked his whole career, double shifts. He did all sorts of stuff to get money and do it. And then announced his retirement, and then got diagnosed with ALS, and 13 months later wasn't able to beat it. And so marry that with a family with younger kids at the time that are growing up with seeing their dad do this. He's finally gotten to his place, and the storyline was real simple. Their house was love, and their family got along great, and was sad about their dad, but the house that they knew in as their camp, their fun place, was related to dad dying. And so, we felt like we could come in and not only give them what we normally give them with Baird Brothers and Renovation Hunters, but we wanted to give them a place where they could go and start anew, but not forget about what happened in the past.
Right.
And so if there's a way to say it shorter than that, that's the theme of the show. And it's just a fantastic build and effort by the team and everything that happened from it.
Couple sisters, brother, mom, and some of the girls' kids, and
lots of kids.
The location was phenomenal. The last house on a dead-end street.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a street, a driveway. And I remember the day the four of us visited them, and
we can't give anything away yet, but it was really muddy.
Yeah,
a couple people got stuck sometimes.
But on our first visit, we got on site to do the inspection, and mom and 2 daughters come out, and the brother wasn't able to be there that day, and mom and 2 brothers come out. Then you hear the storm door swing open, and here comes the kids and the dogs. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I like this place already. And I was asking one of the daughters, well, how far are we from the lake? She said, oh, it's like a 7-minute walk. And the one little towhead kid, he says, no, it ain't, Mom. He says, I can do it in 3 minutes on my bike. And I was, I'm going to like this kid. I'm going to like this kid. And there were some hurdles getting through the project. Maybe more so than we've encountered.
Yeah, a lot of hurdles.
But
some hurdles that actually needed third-party assistance.
We had we had more rain in that what turned out to be 9 or 10 days, and we still had to call for water.
Well, I will tell you that whole area, and truth be told, I live in Western PA. It's really close to my house. I was really excited to do one close by, one of the projects, but they reminded me why I loved Western PA. They really did. When the kids are there, they are getting in puddles and running through the woods and just kids stuff, and it was wonderful.
Yeah,
it's really
growing up the way kids should grow up. Now, but I mean, this particular property was unique in that we sure had a lot more space than we did up in Baldwin, but it was a manufactured home. Yeah, which in remodeling, they pose a little different approach than typical conventional construction, and so we had to address that just about every step along the way, and then the layout we wanted to improve upon flow and functionality, and because when that group gets together, it turns into a tribe, and they had a ton of people, right, and sleeping on floors, sleeping on couches, everywhere and anywhere. And
well, the thing that reminds me, they would show you the room where all the kids are sleeping and stuff, and the poor grandma, Teresa, she was always in the middle of it. It's like sometimes a grandma needs to be able to go in her own room and be without kids and relax. And so we were able to do that as well too, which I think is a real special part. That's a good memory for me for that one.
So one of the daughters loves to cook, does all the cooking when everybody's at camp. And it had not only an outdated kitchen, but a kitchen that didn't flow at all. And to serve a dozen people, maybe upwards of 20, it didn't work. It wasn't working. It was, and so again, Kevin Turkovich, after our initial site visit, he's doing kitchen sketches, floor plans, and sending them over to him. Stack, what do you think? And this Kev looks like it worked. So where do you start? And I said, Kev, just like Baldwin, take it down to the walls. Let's put some new cabinets in. Let's bring some countertops in here, and son of a gun pulled it off. But Dad had a couple special things, and they were like untouchable. And so we had to incorporate those into the renovation.
By the way, we find that a lot. It's one consistent thing that is in all the builds we've done. There's always those, personal heirlooms, however fancy they are or not fancy, that have so much meaning to the family, and to the extent that we can identify those and help maintain them or fix them or give them a prominent place. Again, it's just another part of that formula that makes the family so happy.
So between I'm thinking about what the makers and myself nailed up in that project. There was shiplap material. There was a beautiful antique oak paneling. There were countertops. Replaced all the moldings throughout the house. Then there was that
table.
The table that we laminated up here, and some benches, and I think we could get 10 or 12 people around that table adjacent to the kitchen, and so everybody had a chance. Hal promotes it all the time, for a place to gather, a family to gather, and share stories of the day, or share stories of years gone by. important stories the kids need to hear.
I wouldn't caveat on that because I always think about how to describe stuff. But I mean, one of the benefits that I think we do on the show and the crew does, every day they're working with us is we don't develop it so it looks cool and it's a shocking renovation. We develop it so that it's a shocking renovation, but it's designed for the people that are not only living there, but will spend more time there. And the kitchen reminds me of that. You did a lot of stuff in that kitchen, but at the end of the day, it was about how much of the family could be comfortable in the kitchen and make it as expansive as possible.
And you're right. That's held true on every project. And I just had the privilege of having some of the Lutz family visit us at our recent Red, White, and True event. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I asked of Christina says, "Well, are you guys using it?" Up in Tionesta there. And they said, "You using it? Are you kidding? It's like we live there and we go back to work once in a while."
Yeah, right.
And all the
so you have now that you've been such a great supporter of the show, you are also where I am, where we just mix places all the time, right? So we talk about Tionesta, we talk about Linesville, and they're close, but they're different. The beauty of it is all the people are kind of the same. They're wonderful people. Mm. They, you know what I mean? They're just the relationships that we spark. And I'm kidding with you because we talk about Linesville and brought up Tionesta because either story fits the same.
Oh, no. No, I since Linesville, I've had conversation with the girls and Mom. And since Tionesta, as recently as 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was invited up to the chili cook-off. And unfortunately wasn't able to attend, but yes, there's relationships built, and that makes it easy to go on to the next one. Mm-hmm. Because there's reward. We want to sell lumber. You want your show to prosper, but we get paid in a lot of different ways, and the relationships that we have built over the last 2 seasons now. You don't go to the store and buy them off the shelf.
And you can't plan it. I mean, you almost have to be like, okay, take me. I'm going to go this week and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen here? And you never know. And again, the relationships to me, again, that's like a super, super extra bonus. And we never even talked about that ever when we were designing and planning the show. But it's a wonderful fallout of the show is to have great friends afterwards.
It happened again. And there's been so many things happen at each one of the builds. I know for myself, you get that feeling when stars align. Mm-hmm. And here we are with this family that was lost their father to ALS, and we have a crew member in Alex who shares a very similar situation. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay, we're supposed to be here. And Alex's father-in-law made the trip from Indiana, did a job site visit, brought some of his crew from his masonry business, and helped us doll the place up in Linesville. Mm-hmm. And in the process, Alex's father-in-law and Randy, right?
Randy Toombs.
He was able to share his story. I know he taught you and I lessons in approach, and then you folks arranged representatives from ALS to come in and do a presentation to the entire cast and crew after lunch one day. And I know you have things in the works, but we all left Linesville better people. Mm-hmm. So, all that said, I mean, that's that, and I hope the cameras capture that, and the people, the viewers, see that. Yeah, that the cast and crew are real people, and the families that we're dealing with are real people, and with everyday struggles and these little havens that we gingerbread up a little bit means so much to them.
Yeah, it's a tough thing for me, but it's, again, I just said it. It's like you leave 20% of your desire, dreams, objectives, whatever you want to call it, for each build, and just let stuff happen. See what happens. And this was a perfect storm, right? I mean, from the standpoint that, and I'll give Melanie with ALS credit. Melanie was my main contact. I called her up. She was Western PA. The happiest, most organized person I've ever met in my life. And she made all this stuff happen. She had all these people from ALS and everything, and we learned the disease, and we'll cover a lot of it in the show. We'll be doing some promotional stuff with ALS. But again, it's not that it was a charity that we were thinking about doing. It happened because the residents had a father who passed away from it, and that we had a connection with Alex Honor. And I honestly, the connections are still happening because of those people. Yeah. And to me, I'm excited for the fans to see what we do with that small part of the show, but it's an important part because ALS is such a devastating disease. But I'm excited to show the fans, what we put together, and have them understand it, and understand that life is short and family is important, and where you all hang out is important, and do the best you can to remember the people while they're alive. It's how it,
very much so, and like,
didn't know I could be so deep.
Yeah, but you do, you leave the job site at night, and you're dirty and you're tired, and I just want to shower and go to bed, and you get up the next morning and you drive back to the site. And like you kind of teased, towards the end of the week, it was a challenge getting to the site. But everybody showed up and did their jobs. And but Linesville was special, not only because of the family, but the way the project turned out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was beautiful.
And we did a ton of work, and I feel that we made the house welcoming.
Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't ruin the reveal of the show or anything, but you've already said it. A lot of us have relationships still with the family, and I've seen how they did. I can't wait to see Thanksgiving. I saw how they did Halloween. I saw how they did the 4th of July. They sent pictures of their kitchen completely packed with family and friends. Like, if you don't get an appreciation for that, you never will. You know what I mean? It was just perfect. So
now, I've been asked, well, what's your favorite project? And I think of the 6 projects we've completed, and Tionesta, just because of the transformation, is special. The family is special. This project in Linesville, again, Kevin had a couple great ideas, and to your point earlier in the conversation, Grandma deserved her own space.
Mm-hmm.
And we took her from a square bedroom and put her into a grandma suite. And
now, I don't think I'm violating the reveal rules that I signed a contract to, but I remember specifically when she realized, I'm trying to say this without saying anything, when she realized that her room was now really kind of a suite that allowed her to get there from different ways where she didn't have before. And she was so happy to have that privacy, but yet still be with her family, when she needed to. It's an awesome scene. It really is.
We get to experience the reveal, and that lady at some point through the reveal, maybe halfway through the house, the cast and crew were outside while you guys toured them through their new home in Linesville, I started to get worried for the lady. I thought, she's not coming out of that house, at least not unless she's on a cot or a stretcher.
Yeah, Teresa's a little excited, but
and that's when you realize.
Yeah.
Another one of the wind column, buddy.
It's like you just can't make the stuff up, and it was such a perfect fit. I mean, the consistency in all this conversation is, we could be talking about, what type of wood we're using and how we're nailing it, fastening it, and all that stuff, and we do a little bit of that. But the truth is, families matter, kitchen tables matter, being in the outdoors matters, and to the extent that we can do that, we win either way.
Oh, definitely. So, season 1, the crew grew together. Projects went from good to better, and just when you think you get best, season 2 comes along, right. And somebody was sitting on trump cards because they were throwing them in season 2, and the projects kept getting better and better, and the stories continue to be worth being heard and shared. What's season 3 going to have for us?
Well, we got a lot of exciting things planned. We have some of the locations initially targeted. We are going to do some work with the National Wild Turkey Federation in a way that's really unique and hasn't been done before. We are, constantly striving to give our audience the same emotion and feel, but different locations. So you might see some different locations coming out. And then I guess the big thing is we've been lucky, thankful for your support, but a lot of our sponsors they come, they participate, they work. It's a different feel now than it was in the beginning. It wasn't people, and I did that in my career for a long time where I paid money for someone just to make sure my brand was there and all that. It's not that. These people are coming as sponsors to help, to work. They'll paint, they'll take out trash, they'll go get food. I mean, whatever it takes, because everyone it's palpable, the relationships that we create and the emotion that we create with these families. And I think everyone's starting to really get it and expect it. And when people expect it, and like I said, we hold out yourself and say, okay, whatever the 20% is, it's going to happen. Let it happen. That's when great things happen. And I think that's where we're at in season 3. I think we are just on the cusp of having everybody understand the format and the benefit. But now it's going to get to the next level.
Well, Chris, thank you for popping in today.
Thank you.
Giving us
always a pleasure.
Giving us a insiders from the trenches look at season 2's projects. And man, I don't know about season 3, but folks, stick around because season 3, here we come, coming at you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
For all you folks listening, thanks for talking shop with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to stay up to date with the American Hardwood Advisor series, give us a like and subscribe. For more tips, projects, and inspiration, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or at BairdBrothers.com. Until next time,